Hey guys, it's Jimmy Bremner and Urban Trail CTOA, and Dexter's not with me today. Had to get the windshield for my Jeep Commander, so I'm just on my way back, and I thought I'd do a catch-up for you. Last time I did my last video, I said Maxpedition bag, best bag, and I wish I had a table to show you. So I have a table now, so I will show it to you. So again, Maxpedition, and I don't know what model this is, but it's like an over-the-shoulder kind of bag. Okay, it's like a triangle, right? And this is my urban carry. This is my everyday carry. Tomorrow we're doing a active shooter program for a security company. But that said, I do them for law enforcement and security and whatnot. But the thing that's missing is, what do you teach a civilian to do, right? And it seems to me that most active shooter programs are based around what law enforcement should do. So I developed one that has everything to do with what a civilian should do, right? So that's what we'll be teaching tomorrow. And so I'm going to show you this bag, and I carry this every day. Active shooter in Canada, quite honestly, it's arguable that we don't have that phenomena here. We have mass shootings. We've had that are, they're right on the edge. And people, you can disagree with me, but it's not really something that law enforcement, certainly they're trained for it, but it's, like I say, in Canada we have more trouble with emotionally disturbed, mentally ill, offensive weapon, barricaded type calls, right? And like I said, never say never, never say always, but again, arguably, I can probably make a case that it's not something that we experience here at a high rate of frequency, but certainly we're ready. So, enough said. So what do you carry in this great Maxpedition bag? All right, so if anybody can tell me what model this is, I'd appreciate that. But I got it about 12, 15 years ago at an Army surplus, and the thing is fantastic. Now, so what do I carry on it? So we talk about active shooter. Now in Canada, we are restricted by very robust firearms laws, okay? And so CCW up here, it's non-existent, right? So what can I teach somebody that cannot bear a firearm in that active shooter situation? What I can teach them is cover, concealment, how to barricade a room, your basic, TCCC, and understanding, cover, concealment, and that type of thing. And so that's pretty much what we do on the civilian course. But what do I carry in my bag? Again, I'm realistic, okay? You know how I feel about, like the bottle opener or the screwdriver on the Swiss Army knife. These are not pry bars, okay? Maybe you're opening a can of paint. I don't know what you're doing with them, but you need to stop calling them pry bars. They are not pry bars, okay? A pry bar is, and again, the Maxpedition has pockets on the side. So in the right side, probably your left, I carry proper tools to breach or to escape. Nobody ever talks about escaping. What if you have, the building's on fire, you want to get out, right? And quite honestly, I have a bit of trouble understanding the lockdown thing, right? But that's another video, all right? Okay, so I have a proper pry bar, okay? And this is quite sharp. It's good as a shove knife for opening doors. It has your right angle there for prying and, you know, a beef to open a, you know, that door that opens out. You gotta have a wedge with you all the time. Doesn't matter if it's made of rubber, if it's made of wood. Advantage of a wedge that's made of wood is that in places, like if you had the fire sprinklers have gone off, you can jam them and wood swells and it'll stop that from raining down on top of you, right? And then, like I said, by fencing pliers, okay? These things have enough inertia in the head to break windows. They cut, they bind, they splice, they do everything, and they're not that expensive. So just in these two tools alone, I have a lot more prowess, a lot more, you know, better chances of, you know, escaping or breaking into a room to get to cover and concealment. So let's be realistic about what it is that we're calling pry bars and hammers and things like that. The thing on the end of a multi-tool, it has some ridges, and it's like it's not a hammer, okay? Hammer, and the way people conflate these things together, I don't get it. I was a master breacher, okay? So, you know, I should probably, you know, maybe, you know, talk a little bit more about what I do or attach my CV to these videos. But I gotta tell you, a lot of the videos they're pretty frustrating, right? So that said, you always see me with elastic bands. In fact, this phone is tied on to my walking stick with an elastic band. Why? Because elastic bands are like a third hand, or a clamp is actually very good as well, because it helps you stabilize something so you can, you know, get on with your work. Like I said, it's like a third hand, right? So that's why I carry elastic bands and things like that all the time. I usually have one on my right wrist here, you know, and here I have my paracord bracelet. This particular one, as you can see, is made by a company called Motus. Okay, they make an active shooter breaching kit. Stand by. Pretty exciting. That said, Motus makes an active shooter breaching kit that is specifically built for industrial type buildings, office buildings, schools, you know, industrial stuff. That's what it's built for. Okay, I've done a couple videos on Motus, but I don't know if anybody really, you know, paid attention. But I have to tell you, it's an extremely good kit. It's lightweight, fits into like an IFAC bag, and it's remarkable what it can do. I have one of the tools with me back here in my bag. Okay, and this will get you into any you know, a crash bar, industrial type of building, apartment lobby doors, that type of thing. That will do it. Okay, and again, extremely lightweight to carry. So we talked about the tools. The other thing I carry is a quality knife. This is a Benchmade. This was it's pretty cool because it was gifted to me by a group of law enforcement that I trained to go to Afghanistan. So it's engraved in things, and it's pretty cool. It's a full tang. It's got a nice rubber grip. Of course, they've got some 100-mile-an-hour tape on it and a lanyard. Lanyard's important so you don't lose it. But I don't know if you can see that, the Afghan Roto 2018, I believe it is. Sorry, 2011. Well, I'm getting old. So I have a robust knife, okay? This is to go around doorknobs to keep it open. When you go through a door, always check that it's not going to lock behind you. If you're not sure, you got to wedge that door, right? And you want to be able to get out faster than you got in, and coming up against, you know, a door that's shut behind you and locks, there's a threat in front of you. You know, there's a lot of things that you really, you know, people don't think of, but you have to think about them all the time, right? So again, Maxpedition bag. I have my, they're like, Jimmy, hey, don't be negative. My blood type is B negative, so that's what it is. Again, this is a great bag, okay? On the left side of the bag, okay, I carry my water bottle, all right, and my cup, eating tool, Eat More bars, you know how much I love those, some chocolate, and that's about what I've got in there right now. The great thing about this bag, it actually has a lock on it, so when you lock all your gear down, you don't have to worry about that accidentally coming open. So it flips open, then I have a pocket. Okay, in that pocket I have a book to write notes on. Got some business cards there, but it doesn't really matter for this video. But I always have something that I can write on. I carry my, you know, my brain with me, which is a couple terabytes of information in this disk, and so I have that with me. Now, if you should actually carry at least a thumb drive with you. Why is that? Because you might want to gather some information, right? You might be at an internet cafe, you're looking something up, you want to gather some info, and that's the best way that you can remember it. So even on your key fob or something, you should always have a thumb drive with you. Or it could be aid de memoirs on what to do, right? Like, how do you do T-triple-C, right? Are you following March, right? Massive hemorrhage, airway, respiration, circulation, and then hypo or hyper thermia. All right, so you have to have that. And in crises, even for the people that are really well trained, we still follow aid de memoirs, you know, and check with our buddies to make sure that we're going through it, we're not missing anything. So there's no shame in looking at instructions when you're under pressure, right? That's how the pros do it. So continuing, of course, we got writing tools, that type of thing. As we break down the bag, okay, IFAK. I was carrying the IFAK on the outside of the bag, right, in the molly, and there's plenty of molly on this bag, but the problem is it starts to get thicker like this way, right? Then you can't squeeze through things, and it just, you know, it starts to tilt back, and so I decided to move everything inboard, all right? So my IFAK is here. It's got a really cool Spyderco rescue knife. It's got the window breaker. It's got a crazy sharp serrated edge, and it has a whistle in it as well. So if you're in a waterborne operation, pretty cool knife to have. Always have lighters. Okay, I put a little of my hygiene stuff in here. Toothbrush. Again, I've got a bit of an aid de memoir here about what to do. Right? Wipes. You got to have wipes. In fact, in overseas in arid countries, the wipes are like a offer of friendship, right? So it's like common when people meet, they hand each other wipes because it's so hot, and you can towel down and feel a little bit better. I always have a card that has duct tape, hockey tape, and this sponge tape that binds on itself and can actually act well. It can help reinforce your Israeli bandage or your Oleus bandage. So I always have that. I have Narcan. Okay, got that. Of course, I've got scissors, got a nasal airway, and my Israeli bandage. Why don't you like the Oleus bandage? It's not that I don't like it. It's just that they're so bulky to carry. It just makes it hard, to carry it with you, right? And here's what I know: if you have something that's bulky, heavy, awkward, all of those things, your team's not going to carry it. They're going to throw it in the back of the truck, and they'll figure out something else to do, right? So this is just human nature. That said, Israeli bandage, it's compact, and I think it's superior to the Oleus. That's just me. Comment down below. They're both good, but for reasons of being compact, that's why I prefer Israeli bandage. Got to have cash with you. Got a bit of cash all the time. Best cash to carry, sorry to say it, Canadians, it's American. I always have 100 American on me at least, folded up in the back of my wallet, what have you, because the thing is, all over the world, American works, like it or not, right? So it makes sense to do that. You can, in other countries, you can get into, what would I call it? Confrontations perhaps, and that American money helps smooth that stuff over 100% of the time. Okay, so we're going to continue through here. Okay, I've got tie-down straps, right? Tie-down straps are extremely important, especially if you have a different kind of bag and you're trying to compress it. How hard is it to fit a bag under the seat of the aircraft that you might be traveling on? So I carry these, and it squishes everything down, and I can fit things in. What else can I use this for? Obviously anchoring, and again, improvised tourniquet. So you've got that. These keys, okay, this is another thing you should have. What these do is, in industrial settings, the water hose for outside is not like a regular crank that you do. It's going to have one of 4 different fittings, so you can open up that water and at least get some water if you had to in an emergency. And back when I was on the teams, we used to use this when we were setting up behind industrial buildings. We'd get some water for the guys. If we were, working in tear gas, pepper, that type of thing, we could at least hose ourselves down and get a little decontaminated before we got back in our vehicle. So always a good thing to have. Cat tourniquet, that's what I prefer. Why do I prefer that? Because I'll be honest with you, the soft tourniquet, I have a real difficult time, especially when my hands are all greasy and everything else, hooking the windlass into that little triangle lock. I have a real hard time with it. So I ask myself, if I can't do this in good conditions, what are the chances I'm going to be able to do it in bad conditions? And the answer is not so much. So that's why I prefer the cat. Okay? I carry a styptic pencil, and that's for boo-boos, right? On the range, people are always getting slide bite, and I don't know how they do it, but somehow they manage to cut themselves all the time. Go with a styptic pencil, that bit of tape or a Band-Aid, and it stops it, and you can move on with the day. So again, boo-boos, what's interesting about putting a Band-Aid on somebody, it's really more of a psychological thing than it is a remedy for the mechanism of injury, right? It's just like a feel-good type of thing. And that's why they put cartoon characters on kids' Band-Aids, right? So let's keep going. Of course, I've got a clotting agent. Okay, I've got clotting agent with me. One of my kits has the the packing tape with the blood clotting stuff in it, and then I've got a space blanket. Of course, you have to have a space blanket. This particular kit, I have a bivy, actually, by SOL. Okay, and this will totally encapsulate somebody and help them again with that either hyper or hypothermia, right? Overheating or underheating is just not good for us. We want to try and stabilize, and it's always good to have one of those options with you. Of course, a blanket in the back of your car, what have you, a big heavy coat, that will suffice in that regard. I always have gloves with me. These are pilot gloves. Be any kind of gloves, doesn't matter, but these are form-fitting, and again, you know, you can grip and do fine, moderately fine, you know, motor skills and things. I also have a bigger pair of heavy-duty rubber gloves, and again, I find these are good for gripping. Okay, in Canada it gets really cold. When it's cold here, our fingers get all waxy, and it's hard to hold on to things, right? So this makes a huge difference. Just kind of, again, duct tape, hockey tape, and what I do is I got, again, some boo-boo remedies. What I do is when I go to travel, you get your hotel cards now for opening the doors, and I keep them, and then I use them in this fashion for wrapping tape and things like that on it. I don't need to carry a big roll of tape. This, again, compact, we're talking urban, right, where you're moving all the time. This just makes things easier. A bit of Vaseline, can always use that, especially you're doing the airway, big help. Okay, so we're moving around to the back now, and another big rubber band. Always carry those. I think we're almost through here. Got a really tiny wedge. Chapstick, can't go wrong with that. Bit of a fire starter, and you can grease your firearms and things like that. Some change. I think we're finally through the whole bag here. Rain gear, carry my poncho again. I can use it as a litter to carry a wounded person. And, I mean, I can use it for cover, concealment. Do I have you know, cordage on me? Yeah, it's actually holding up my walking stick that we're doing this video on. So again, that's this Maxpedition bag. I wish I could tell you what model it is, but out of all the bags that I have or carry, bit of noise going by, I think this one's the best. And you know, I've got a mask, I've got carabiners. I always carry one beaner that you can climb with. Always, because it just, you know, you've got to depend on something, you want a good beaner, right? So I always carry at least one of those. As I said, this is a great bag, and it's my go-to in an urban environment. And I just can't say enough about it. It does have a belt here that you can put around, so you have 2 points of it holding on to you, and you can move and not worry about it like flipping around to the front. It's really well thought out, right? And as I said, for my American friends in the back for CCW, you have that capability there. So again, I'm sorry Dexter's not with me today. Dog-faced boy's at home, and I'll be home in a few minutes. But Dexter will be coming to you on the next video. And listen, I really appreciate you guys listening to me. Being retired is not, it's just, I miss what I did so much. It's hard to put into words. And when I left, You know, like I'm a teacher, I'm an instructor, I'm a mentor, I'm a helper, right? And when I left all of my students and things behind, and so now I try, like this is a catharsis for me when I'm doing these videos, because there's so much in my brain that I'd love to pass on to people to keep you safe and, you know, kind of give you the real down low of actually what's going on and all these videos and things that you might see or watch or follow, right? So that's it. Like I said, this wasn't the best place to do the video, but it worked. So that said, it's Jimmy Bremner, CTOA, Urban Trail. Can I ask you to please comment, subscribe, tell a friend, and notification bell. I get to the comments as best I can, and like I said, I don't, you know, good comment, bad comment. I'm not afraid to learn anything, you know, something. I'm not afraid to, you know, to listen to a negative, you know, or comment, or perhaps a, you know, just a different point of view. Doesn't bother me in the least. That's how you learn. So that's it. Now I got to pack all this stuff. It's Jimmy Bremner, CTOA, Urban Trail, and I'm out.